Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to another video. So let's talk about episode 19 titled One More. This is a Father Gabriel and Aaron episode. It is them searching for supplies, and then small tragedies lead to bigger tragedies, and then they find this man named Maze, and this tests Father Gabriel's faith. What happens here? It's going to be a very character-driven episode. It's going to go into the concepts of the apocalypse and how you live life. I think it's going to be a pretty big episode. I don't see there being any big story pieces, if you know what I mean, like in terms of we're progressing the story in this way and whatnot. It's going to be very much just Father Gabriel and dealing with philosophy, the philosophy of the apocalypse, right? I think it's going to be a very interesting episode. It reminds me anyways, just as of now, of the Eastman episode, if you remember, with Morgan back in was that season 6? For some reason, I want to say season 6. I think it was season 6, episode 4, or it was somewhere around there. I think it was the early half of season 6. But Eastman trained Morgan to be the way he is now and set up a lot of stuff for that character. And so I think Gabriel's faith is going to be tested in the same way. We're going to be learning a lot of interesting ideas. I think it's going to be an amazing episode. Anyways, let's talk about this episode here. So before we go any further, I do have to warn you for spoilers for Season 10 of The Walking Dead. And if you are new here, make sure to be a subscriber if you do want more Walking Dead content like this. Again, I will be breaking down, at least this week, each individual episode, all the synopsis stuff that we got, and as well as the trailer footage that we got, and just kind of correlating both of them, because we can actually do that, right? Like, we have our first look technically from each of those episodes, so I might as well. So if you're interested in any of that, just make sure to be a subscriber. Now, the synopsis here for episode 19 reads, or first of all, the title is One More, and the synopsis reads, Gabriel and Aaron search for food and supplies to bring back to Alexandria. Small tragedies lead to bigger tragedies as faith is broken and optimism is fragmented when they are put to the ultimate test. I read that weird. I read that like there was a comma there, but the only thing that really confuses me about this, to be honest, is the small tragedies leading to bigger tragedies. And as faith is broken and optimism is fragmented when they are put to the ultimate test. So that part there is just Father Gabriel is feeling very like his faith is being tested, but it's coming at a point where something small led to something big. So it's just a lot to deal with because he's already dealing with this idea. And I don't know what the small tragedies leading to bigger tragedies is going to be, but what I think it is just our characters, because Father Gabriel and Aaron, they are on a supply run. And I also think it makes sense that they're on a supply run because Alexandria has been abandoned, right? Like all of those communities are going to need help from everybody. If they don't get help from everyone, they're going to be out of food. Like, they need to rebuild. Alexandria was completely abandoned in episode 15. I know they never really showed that, but it was abandoned because the Whisperer attack in episode 10, I think, forced everyone to leave, and so they all left to the hilltop and I guess the hospital. They all just kind of went everywhere, and so they all have to return, go back to their normal jobs. But I think the Whisperers probably scavenged Alexandria, took a lot of food, ate a lot of shit, destroyed a lot of shit, right? They got to rebuild a little bit. They're not in the same shape as the hilltop. Like the hilltop was destroyed for sure. The hilltop, they have a lot of rebuilding. It's going to take a few years definitely to get back to where they were at. Places burnt down and buildings are probably going to be very weak. The infrastructure of buildings and stuff, they're going to have to do a lot there, right? To checking the foundation of things. The damage to the hilltop is going to take a long time to repair, and I don't know what happened to the windmill. All the windmills in Alexandria, never mind. But yeah, anyways, Alexandria was still affected. And so I think that's why they're going to go out there. And this will probably be an idea set up in episode 17 and 18. Because this is episode 19. 17, they're all going to get back to Alexandria, the hilltop. Maggie's going to assess the damage, see the damage done. They're going to be like, what do we do now? We got to feed all these people. We got to try build this back to what it was. So I think they're all going to go out, and then it's possible even that in that episode we see Father Gabriel and Aaron go out. They mention something about a pairing between those two characters, but we just don't see it until the episode after the one that's going to air, because maybe in that one, Daryl and Carol also go out in a supply run, which brings up some stuff for Daryl and Carol, right? Anyway, circling back to my original point here, I think that is the smaller tragedy. It's just, right now they have to go out and find supplies. They're back to doing this again, but it's going to lead to something bigger when they meet this character here named Maze. There could be something wrong with him. I don't really know what is happening here. I don't. There is something on his face because obviously Robert Patrick doesn't look like that unless, no, I'm not being rude. Like I don't know. I'm starting to think like, is he even real? Or is he like the devil on Father Gabriel's shoulder, right? Like, is that possible that they would play with that idea? Because Father Gabriel and Aaron are going to get drunk in this episode, because if you watch the in production sneak peek where the actor is just reading dialogue, Father Gabriel and Aaron, I think, get drunk, and then Gabriel is passed out a lot longer than Aaron. Aaron goes out in the morning or something like that, and then I think Gabriel runs into this character. If he's running into this character in the same place, I'm thinking it could be a dream, and that they go out for a supply run, all this stuff happens. Father Gabriel, like, he gets drunk, he's hungover, wakes up alone because Aaron left, meets this person in this room, talks with them, has this whole debate, and then something happens where he disappears or something like that, and Father Gabriel's like, whoa, wait, what? Like he had this wrestling with his conscious sort of thing, and then Aaron just returns. That's kind of my prediction. It could be very predictable, but obvious of a prediction, but that's kind of how I see it playing out, because I think that Father Gabriel is a very in-depth character. He's went through a lot. He's the moral compass of our group, of every character, I'd say, on The Walking Dead. But we haven't heard a lot of his ideas. I do think out of all the characters, he's kind of taken over after Rick left. Like, Rick was more of the moral compass of everyone. However Rick felt, that's kind of how you felt, or you, like everyone else, like that was the vibe generally of the show. And Father Gabriel would say his opinion, but no one would really agree with it, or some people would. Now I think because he left, because he's the leader of the Council of Alexandria, he's kind of put in that position. I think there's a lot to explore here, and I've seen some people say that this is going to be a boring episode because it's just Father Gabriel and Aaron, but I really disagree with that. I think this could be a really great episode, if not one of the greater episodes of these 6 episodes, because you have Robert Patrick there. You can really go somewhere with this. You can get into this very heated debate with the characters on the concepts of faith or life in the apocalypse, just how people should be. How should people react, and should people have hope for the future, or is it just going to be shit now for forever? I think there's so much you can get into with that, especially coming off the Whisperer War and the ideas of the Whisperers. Does that make any sense? What if they go into any of that? Maybe Maze is a symbol of the Whisperers, right? Because he was saying that, like, this is kind of the new way to live now, which is very similar to the way that the Whisperers believe, right? And so maybe that's a connection to Dante and the beliefs that Dante has, and maybe Dante's death, what Gabriel did there, is still affecting him, and that's why this is coming out. This is all just a connection of Gabriel can see some truth in the Whisperer belief, but it's really conflicting with his own beliefs and just with the events happening. There's just a lot going on inside him right now, and this episode will be a really good, I guess, vent session, right? Like, he's gonna vent, he's gonna say everything on his mind. As for what's gonna happen with Father Gabriel and Aaron in the final season, or final 6 episodes that are leading into the final season, I think Aaron's going to survive the entire series. I don't see him dying. He's just that one character that is like, he's a solid character. He's a very memorable character. He's a side character for sure, but everyone likes him. I don't see him having that big of an impact on certain characters, certain parts of the story. I think he will survive the remainder of the season, or show, or series, I guess I should be saying. Father Gabriel, I think, is going to die in the final season. I think this is going to be one of those episodes that is like the Father Gabriel episode, right? Because there's certain actors or certain characters that have certain episodes. It's like Herschel, Internment, I think, is the episode. I can't remember the episodes because there's a few of them there that start with I, but that's where he says you risk your life, and he goes into that speech. That was such a memorable episode for Herschel, and I remember that episode. That was a powerful episode. There are certain episodes like that where, and also Clear for Morgan, that is just attached to him for life. That will always be his best episode, because he spoke a lot of truths, and it's possible this Father Gabriel one is his version of that. We're going to get another Clear episode, but with Father Gabriel, right? And I think when he does die in the finale, or the final season, sorry, I think this will just be one of his greatest episodes ever, because I do think he's going to die in the final season. And the reason why is because, again, earlier in the video, I mentioned how he's a lot like Rick. In the comic, Rick dies because of his ideas and beliefs. He dies by Pamela Milton's son, Sebastian. He's shot in his sleep, and it's really tragic. I think Father Gabriel, his ideas and his beliefs, and it's going to conflict a lot with the Commonwealths. And I think that could be what they're setting up here with Father Gabriel. I think that's why he's going to end up getting shot or something in his sleep like Rick was in the comic. And then they'll probably have the statue of him up or something like that, because it makes sense to do it with that character. He's the moral compass of the show. I think you can do it. I really am looking forward to this episode. If people are saying that this is going to be a boring episode, I really do disagree with that. But Anyways, I'll leave it here. Post all your thoughts down below. What are you expecting from this episode? Hope you guys all enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.